What if greatness wasn't about talent, luck, or being born into the right circumstances? But what if it actually was about mastering a few timeless pillars that anyone could learn? Well, today we're breaking down the art of greatness so you can stop chasing and you can start becoming. Come on, let's get into it. Welcome to the Best in Class series, where we explore the tools, mindsets, and strategies that unlock your fullest potential. I'm your host, Adrienne Benton, and in this special episode, we're diving into the pillars of greatness. Listen, these are the foundations that legends, that leaders like you and me, visionaries across history, have leaned on, not just to achieve success, but to sustain it and to make an impact that outlives them. Well, today, I'm really excited because we have an amazing experience. You're really going to like him. We have an amazing guest that is with us today. Let me tell you about Fahad. Well, he is a visionary entrepreneur, real estate investor, the founder of Art of Greatness, a multidimensional company built to help people unlock scalable wealth through short-term rentals, business leadership, and high performance execution. Transformation Station, help me to welcome Fahad. Welcome to Best in Class series today.
That was the best introduction I've ever received. That was incredible. I love your energy.
Fantastic. Listen, I'm super excited to have you here. And we've been looking forward to this episode for a while. So I want to go ahead and dig right in. All right. So, Fahad, when we think about the people that we most admire, right? Like athletes, creators, leaders, or even mentors, there typically is something that in our mind causes them to stand out. I know for me, many times it's not just what someone does, it's who they've chosen to be. And as we start up this conversation, I just want you to know for me, that's what I think about when I think about greatness, right? So I want to start off by asking you this. Greatness for many people, a lot of times that word is like a buzzword, right? But Fahad, how do you personally define greatness, and what makes greatness different from success or maybe even ambition?
All right. I like that. I, I feel that success is a result and
Mm,
greatness is the pursuit of, I guess, achieving your highest potential. And it's
mm,
the relentless pursuit and it's continuous improvement where
mhm,
you're bursting through whatever the glass ceilings that are there are. You're working on refining your craft. You are disciplined, you are resilient, and you're able to work through all of these setbacks that
mhm,
exist. And it's
mhm,
through the consistency that you need to have that you're able to achieve greatness. And in my mind, I believe anyone can achieve greatness, and most people have achieved it, but in bursts. And I think most people, the ones that you really look up to, or the mentors, or the people that are the athletes, they've been able to do it through consistency, through discipline, through persistence, through resilience, through all of the things that allowed them to continue to shatter that ceiling, to continue to achieve higher, to continue to focus on personal growth. Because we all have setbacks in our lives, in our businesses, in our relationships, however you want to look at it. But it's not the setbacks that define us. It's what you do when you have the setback. How you're able to be resilient, how you're able to adapt to different things, how you're able to challenge yourself to be better, or do you give up and fold? And I think a lot of people don't realize that they have it in them to be able to achieve even more. And that's where I guess vision and the ability to believe in your own greatness, right? Believe
mhm,
in oneself and my ability to achieve it. And I feel if anyone can do that, that's half the battle. And you've
mhm,
already won there. And a lot of times there's these limiting beliefs and limiting factors that just hold people back, but they don't realize it's that mindset from the get go before anything else even starts. Before the race starts, you've
Mhm.
sometimes either already won or you've already lost.
Mhm.
And I feel like there's groups of people, right? Adrian, I'm sure you know people that have been successful at every job that they've held, every business that they've started. That's
Mhm.
because they figured out the recipe to greatness, to success, to be able to achieve greater things in life without
Mhm.
complaining, without having to turn their back and be like, the cards are dealt against me. And then you have people who will always blame the circumstances
Yes.
because they get fired from every job they have, because they're unsuccessful at everything that they do. But that's their
Mhm.
mindset. They haven't learned to work hard, put in the effort. You have to
Mhm.
remember the failures are the opportunities. They're not really the setbacks. Those setbacks, if you look at them as you failed, okay,
Mhm.
and then what are you going to do? Are you going to quit, or are you
Mhm.
going to keep going to get better? The failure is the opportunity for you to improve. And I think Churchill's most one of his most popular quotes is, "Success is the ability to go from one failure to another with no loss of enthusiasm." So
Mhm.
it's just that drive, that innate ability to go want more and to go be able to deliver as well.
I love this, right? So here in Transformation Station, we always give our listeners and our viewers an opportunity to what we call reflect, right? And so, community, this is an opportunity for you to reflect. Fahad has shared some gems with us that are actually really practical. And so he talked to us about a few things, right? He said your setback does not define you. And this is a great opportunity to pause for a moment and ask yourself, like, what am I using as the barometer to define who I am and how I live my life? Am I giving my setbacks an opportunity, or am I giving my setbacks priority as far as how I view what I can do, what I can accomplish, what my vision is? I often, Fahad, share with my teams, you can blame other people for many things. You can blame the system, you can blame your leadership, you can blame whatever it is, but you cannot blame anyone for and I like this, your belief. You cannot blame anyone for your amount of energy that you put into your resistance. You can't blame anybody for the consistency that you bring to the table. You can't blame anyone for the vision. And so, as I hear you talking today, I think about this quote that says, "It's the difference between someone who climbs the mountain for the view at the top and someone who climbs it, then turns back to down to help others find the path," right? That one who climbs it solely for the view at the top is very singular. You're just stuck on this vision. But the one who turns back and helps others to find the path, man, you're really looking to have resonance. You're looking to have growth. You're looking to have impact, right? And I have found many times when I think about greatness, it's those individuals who did not just complete the mission for themselves, right? But they determined that whatever they were able to accomplish, whoever they were able to become, that it would have impact and be like fertilizer, right? That seed that grows to then enhance those around them. Mm, you're
Oh,
really
I
making us think.
couldn't agree more with that. And I do think that not everyone has it in them to be the one that's going to go impact others' lives. And everyone's built a little bit differently. Some people do want to climb the mountain for the view, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not here to tell you there's something wrong with you if you're not into creating the impact for other people. That's completely your path. You get to decide what you want to do. But if you can engage and inspire others to achieve more, I think what people don't realize that maybe at the bottom or the middle of the mountain is the path that person to get to the top took a
Mhm,
while. It didn't
mhm,
happen overnight. And I think everyone looks at these successful figures or whoever that may be, the athletes or the entrepreneurs or the
mhm,
successful business person. They weren't successful overnight. It took them days, weeks, years, decades. There's so many entrepreneurs that built companies in their 50s, 60s. So
mhm,
age isn't a defining factor. You can
mhm,
start at any point in time. I think the limitations are personal and we impose them on ourselves. And that's
mhm,
where, when you want to get to that mountaintop, you have to understand that it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. And I think
mhm,
there's this popular quote, I forgot who said it, but everyone wants what you have, but not everyone is willing to work hard to get to where you're at. Everyone
Gotta
wants the
get.
result, but
Mm-hmm.
the result is the end goal of the actions. And the actions are what we need to focus on, right? The discipline, the
Just,
resilience, the ability to execute, to wake
yeah.
up and say, hey, I am going to do it and I'm going to have my schedule. I'm going to go, whatever it is, whether you cold call, you door knock, or you have a cafe, or you've got a short term business like me, short term rental business, um, or you coach. Look, in every field, you can achieve greatness. That encompasses a whole lot of things. It's the work ethic, it's the ability to just keep going, right? Don't quit. Having that winning mindset is once again half the battle.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love it. So listen, you talk about the pillars of greatness. Can you walk us through what those pillars are and why do they matter?
I think the pillars are what help you kind of define each and every step.
Mm,
And in order to achieve greatness in anything that you do, whether it's a skill that you want to learn or a business that you want to be the best at, focus on being the best. Don't focus on just making the most money, because you will make the most money if you are the best. If you're, I believe in focusing on excellence and growth. But if we were to quote unquote define each pillar, and let's break this down, right? The first pillar would be vision. So you know what your target is, what the goal is. And within that vision, you need to have clarity, and clarity of what it is that you want to achieve, what it's going to take to get there. And you won't find out till later if you need to adjust or do certain things. And most importantly, you need to have also the belief in yourself. And we keep touching on the belief. You're halfway there if you've got that. Then it's the discipline to do the work, discipline to move forward. And I guess discipline's arguably one of the most important pillars. If you don't have discipline, and that's where most people fail, is the lack of discipline or the lack of resilience, which would be kind of the next step. And when they have the setback, are you going to quit and go back to number one and rebuild a new vision and try something new? The shiny object syndrome, right? I tried it, didn't work. Let's move on to something else. I tried it, didn't make money. Let's move on to something else. Or are you going to adjust and then see how it is that we can adjust this to be able to fix what it is that we need to fix and be able to grow ideally? And growth, you don't really get to growth till you go through that resilience factor, right? It's you're either going to go back to the vision and restart, be like,
mm,
okay, somebody told me about this business, let's try drop shipping. And
mhm,
then a little bit of discipline, did it for 2 weeks, didn't work.
mhm,
But anything you do for 2 weeks, it's not going to result in anything really.
yeah,
Success isn't built in 2 weeks, it's built on months and years of work, of
mhm,
trying to figure it out. And I think the resilience, then there's the growth. And that is the loop, right? The loop of, I guess, discipline,
mm,
resilience, and growth, or however, discipline is technically at the bottom, resilience here, and growth. And you're going to go into that loop over and over and over again, regardless of where you're at in your business. Or
mm,
you just go back to step one, which is vision. And then the final step, I guess, would be, you mentioned it, impact, I think is one of the main ones, which is the impact that you have on others. And if you
mm,
have that impact on others and why it matters to you, and
mm,
why is it that you want to achieve greatness in what it is that you do.
mm,
I've always wanted to be the best at everything I did, not because of the money side of things, but I'm a competitive person. I want to
mm,
win. I'm a winner. And
mm.
there's winners and there's losers. I mentioned this quote from Eminem. It's from Lose Yourself. It's success is the only motherfucking option. I apologize for swearing. Failure's not, but success is the only option. And when you believe that, you are more likely to be successful from the get-go.
Mm. Okay, so this is another great place for us to stop and do some assessments, right? So again, for those of us who are listening and watching, I invite you as always to take out your notes, whatever note-taking device that you have, right? He gave us a system right here. We talked about the pillars: vision, clarity, belief, discipline, resilience, right? Resilience, growth, discipline, impact. Right now, just write it down And if you can't write it down, you're driving, you're cooking, I need you to come back and watch this again on the replay when you can, because it's not enough for us to hear it. We have to actually engage with what we're hearing. But this is a great place, again, to ask yourself, when you look at the pillars of greatness and you're looking at your own life, where is your vision? Where is your clarity? Where is the belief, the discipline, right? And, you may be listening and saying, I got this. But guess what? We always are in a position to grow. Or you may be listening to this saying, hey, you know what? I hear Fahad. This sounds amazing. I don't even know where to begin. I need you to stay tuned, because he's going to continue to talk to us about the pillars of greatness and how we can implement this in our own life. So I want to ask you this question, Fahad. These pillars are great, right? Which pillar of greatness was, or sometimes is, the hardest one for you to embody? Because we're talking about living this out practically, right? And how did you grow through it?
I think it depends on each person, right? For me, I've always been a visionary. I have these grandiose visions of like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and I keep moving the goalposts. So if we achieve it, which we almost always do, we just move the goalposts forward. So it's not like you've ever achieved greatness. You're always working towards it, right? We all need to improve in many facets of our life, and I'm not perfect by any means. It's all about, I'll share the vulnerabilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most people, where they fall apart, actually, a lot of people fall apart at the first step, a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second step is where I would say the most amount of people don't have the discipline to put in the work. I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
world of real estate. If you do real estate sales as an example, do you have the discipline to make the calls? Do you have the
Mm-hmm.
discipline to go door knock? And are you going to do it consistently through a period of weeks and weeks and months? But can you even start it off by days and days? Are you going to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Are you doing it every single day? And
Mm-hmm.
if you're not, you've already kind of fallen off, right?
I see.
I think for me, the biggest is resilience, because you have the setbacks. I feel like discipline and resilience is where I'm always kind of in between, is
Mm-hmm.
you're always trying to readjust the parameters of what it is that you're doing, how it is that you can be more effective, more efficient in the world of AI. How can I buy some of my time back to be able to utilize that into money generating activities for my business?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of focusing on silly things, you can shoot the shit by the water cooler, or you can just have fun at the office instead of actually doing real meaningful work, or you can time block, schedule, and then go out there and do it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think even within the business, as an example, I'll give you a partial example of something that I went through. For me, resilience and even a growth mindset was about 2.5 months ago. I was having some issues with some of our properties, and we had a few minor complaints. But based on where I stand and the level of properties that we have, we manage properties anywhere from $1 million all the way up north of $10 million. Our biggest property is an $11 million custom home in Forest Hill, which is one of the most affluent areas in Toronto. So when we had some of these issues that came up, it dealt with cleanings. And this was one of my outsourced teams. So I actually decided, instead of outsourcing anymore, because we tried that a couple times, I ended up bringing everything in house, but it took weeks of my time to do it. It was difficult. I had to drive up 3 hours to Muskoka 8 times in 2 weeks. So you can just imagine, drive
Mm-hmm.
up 3 hours, drive back 3 hours. I didn't stay the night.
Mm-hmm.
I would go 8 different times to go train people. And then even when you go train people, you teach them what you want, and then you're following up. It's that they have to have the discipline to do it, but you as a leader have to have the ability to follow up. And for me, my standard is very important. What I put out there in the world is very important to me and to my clients. I want the highest of standards in all of my properties, and I will push to the limits as far as I can to be able to achieve that for the guests, for the clients that own these properties, and to ensure that we make the highest top line revenue possible. And that took weeks and weeks of my time to actually be able to effectively do this. Now, fast forward 2 months, we've had this in place, and we have 5 people up north for our 5 properties that we have around the Muskoka region, and they manage those 5 for us. And those are all in house people that report directly to me, my assistant, my team, to be able to achieve the highest level of standards that we want to have in our properties. But
Mhm.
if I just folded and I was like, okay, let's fire these guys, let's just hire another one, that would have been easier.
Mhm.
But it wouldn't have yielded the same results,
Mhm.
unfortunately. Hiring
Mhm.
people that believe what you believe, and this goes back to Simon Sinek's. If you've never watched um, why his TED talk, I believe it was on
Okay.
uh, it was on leadership. I forget the exact title, but you'll
Mhm.
find it. This is like north of a decade old, maybe 18 years old. I've watched that video so many times. The power of why we do what we do, because we
Mhm.
want to hire people that have the same vision. And I think
Mhm.
if you're building a team and you're an entrepreneur, that's the number one goal. People that
Yes.
believe what you believe. And if they don't believe what you believe, don't hire them. And even
Mhm.
if it means you're going to be put in a difficult spot, I'd rather not hire someone.
Mhm.
There's never a bad time to hire a good person, and there's never a good time to hire a bad person. So you can
That's
hire a bad person
it.
at any point in time. So
Mhm.
that's the key thing. You've got to, and it's hard, especially when you need someone and you're looking for someone. You have to see where does our vision align? Do they have the right attitude? Do they have the right mindset? Are they looking to solve problems? Are they looking to point fingers?
Mm.
Do they have integrity? And
Mm.
integrity is a big portion, right? Like our top properties make $500,000 a year. We had a
Mm.
property that made $150,000 in 2.5 months. All that
Mm.
money flows into our corporate bank account. The
Mhm.
clients don't see the money till the end of the month or the
Mm.
beginning of the next month for the previous month. There's a lot of trust. We do off-market deals for properties for $40,000, $50,000 a month, and all that money is coming straight to us. So there's an immense amount of trust
Mhm.
there that you're going to do the right thing. And
Mhm.
sometimes we have people come to us for direct private bookings. We take care of that, and we're always open and honest with our clients to ensure that, hey, they know everything that's going on. There's
Mm.
nothing to hide. You're not trying to make an extra quick dime here, a quick dime there. And when you do try to do that, your integrity goes down the drain. And what is it that you stand for? And for me, art of greatness, like the brand is, it
Mhm.
is the be all end all, right? The brand
Mhm.
is very important. And even the people that I hire, how it is that they communicate with the guests, where we just hired a new assistant. We've got one in person, we've got one virtual. But to be able to help them understand what our vision is, to be able to help them see that, like, have clarity in what it is that we believe, and if we align, great, and if we don't, cut it off right there. And that's where, even walking into teams I've managed, I come from Saks Fifth Avenue as the director of operations. I launched Saks in Canada, Target in Canada. So I worked with very large scale teams,
Mhm.
and with seeing that and seeing how culture is built, it's very hard to fix it once you already have people in there. So I know
Mm.
went on a tangent answer. I think I
Yeah.
answered the question
Mhm.
for the most part.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, as you were talking, our audience here, we're talking to leaders, high impact, power driven leaders, right? And so I think this is really real because many of the leaders who are in our community, they've been in leadership for about 10 to 25 years, right? And so we know what happens. Many times you start off and you're gung ho and everything's fresh and you have all this energy, and somewhere around that 10 to 15-year time period, you kind of like, okay, what am I doing? Does this still align? And as you were talking, I'm thinking to myself, like, for leaders, you're listening, Fahad talked to us about vision, right? And one of the things that you were saying here was being able to communicate that vision to your team, right? And then you were talking about hiring. Well, listen, if I don't know my vision, I don't know what I'm really looking for. And so, to our leaders, it's really important, again, that we take some time right here. And, you always hear me say, when I meet you, you're already in a relationship with you. You've got
Mm,
to understand your relationship with you. You have to understand, have clarity on your value system. For how to talk to us about integrity. You talk to us about that inherent trust that the clients give to you, right? To hold on to this large sum of money to be able to do the business deals with honesty and authenticity, right? What do you believe, leaders? Like, what do you believe? Do you see yourself? Do you have that vision for greatness? Whatever greatness is to you. We're not going to tell you what that's supposed to be, but do you believe that you're not stuck? This is not the end, that there is more, that there are opportunities, there's collaborations that are right around you. And Fahad, talk to us about discipline, right? Being able to be consistent. All right. So I want to ask you this question, and this is for the leaders in the group. So I'm going to invite you to frame it with from a leadership perspective, right? Talking to our leaders. In your experience, what's the difference between people who touch greatness and those who sustain it, right? Leaders, sometimes we have moments of greatness, right? We landed that big deal, right? We moved our people into this amazing building where we have moments of greatness. We touch it. But what's the difference between those leaders who, or people, really leaders, who touch greatness and those who are able to sustain it?
I think it goes back to the pillars, right? It's the discipline, a discipline and resilience. And I'm going to try to remember this Alex Hormozy quote. Um, it's greatness isn't achieved through shouting positive affirmations in the mirror. It's built through discipline of stacking the work of undeniable proof, stacked day after day until the results are questionable, meaning that you will continuously work and be disciplined to go in and do what it is that you need to do till
Mm,
success is the only option
mm,
because of everything that you've done.
mm,
And I think many people have touched greatness. And
mm,
once again, it's in moderation, right? Like it's here, it's there. Okay, I was really good at this one thing. I did this once, but can you do it over and over and over again? And I think
mm,
that's a mindset that's
mm,
built over a period of time where,
mm,
regardless of the job that you have, the work that you do, the leadership role that you're in, whether it's corporate or entrepreneurship, where it, everything has its own nuances, you can still achieve greatness. It's about the consistency, the work that you're willing to put in, and how it is that you're going to overcome the obstacles. But if
mm,
you're going to fold halfway,
mm,
and the first time that you have a difficult conversation with someone, what did you learn? And
mm,
go back to the growth side of things. And I think this is where a lot of people don't realize that you need to grow for yourself. Look for opportunities where you're surrounded by great mentors. Ask questions. If you've got a team, I think one of the best things you can ask your team is for feedback. Be like, hey guys, what do you think I can do better to serve you, to help you do more? What are your team's goals? What is your team's vision? Dan Martell does this really well. Is he says if you have people working for you and they report into you, do you
mm,
know what their vision is? Do you know
mm,
what their goals are? Do you know
mm.
what it is they want to accomplish in their professional life, in their personal life? And if you do, you're more bought into that person.
Yes.
And if you can help them grow and achieve their goals as a leader, you will automatically achieve yours.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like if you
Yes. So
start thinking
win-win.
of, yeah, if you start thinking of other people and how is it that I'm going to help these people? And look, leadership styles is something we can certainly get into, but that is a separate conversation. It's all
Mhm,
about how it is that you serve others, right? Servant
mhm,
leadership, which I personally believe in. I believe
mhm.
in keeping people happy, keeping people engaged, because
Yes.
that's when they'll put in the best work. If somebody made a mistake, it's not like, what the hell did you do? That's not the point. The point is, hey, what happened? How are we going to improve? What can we learn from this? How can we make sure this doesn't happen again?
Mm,
Versus you feeling like I'm lighting you on fire every time you do something wrong or anytime you do something
it
wrong,
doesn't work.
even if it's the first time. It's just about, but that's also maturing in leadership. A lot of new leaders don't understand how to lead. A lot of tenured leaders are still trying to figure out how to flex in certain ways. And the
Mm,
more time you have leading other people, the more you'll realize the hardest person to control aren't the people around you.
mhm.
It's yourself.
Right.
The
That-
hardest person to control is you,
That's right.
your emotions. If shit hits
Mhm.
the fan, what are you going to do?
What are you
Are you
gonna
going to
do?
flip your lid? Are you going to stay even keeled? Are you going to stay calm? And look,
Mm,
in our business, it's hospitality, right? We're dealing with guests, we're dealing with clients, stuff happens. We had dock issues. One of our docks was underwater for a month and a half in one of our properties. It
Mhm.
cost north of $20,000 to fix it. It took
Mhm.
weeks and weeks and weeks. And it was a lot of hospitality issues that we had to deal with to say, hey, we booked this. This was our expectation. This wasn't met. What can we do? How do we resolve it? Yet we came out with a 5-star review from every guest. Or
Mhm.
it's the fact that we had our furnace break in one of our properties
Mhm.
through the first weekend live in October when it was 10 degrees. No, it was 4 degrees outside. It was Thanksgiving weekend last year in one of our properties, 4 degrees outside, meaning it's 4 degrees inside since the heating's not working and the furnace is broken. We
Mhm.
got a 5-star review. But
Mhm.
how did we tackle the issue? It's not the problem at hand, it's how you deal with the problem. It's how you react to the problem. If you're
Mhm.
going to flip your lid, and that's why I say the hardest person to control as a leader is yourself. When you understand how to not be emotional, how to be a little more logical, and how to
Yes.
also be understanding and empathetic towards other people that go
Yeah.
through things. And
Yes.
then the ability to flex in different ways while you're managing, right? You manage different personalities, and there's all these like personality color trait tests or like the disc assessments. Sure, great to know. I think once you start to understand different people, different personalities, and you've done it for a while, you
Mhm.
learn to be better. You learn to be able to service these people better. You learn to be able to
Mhm.
create buy-in and engagement for them to achieve the best results possible.
Mhm.
And even if you're reprimanding people or letting them know what the expectations, and I think that's very important, right? You need to understand that when you're looking at the recognition accountability scale, right? If one end is recognition and the other end is accountability, you don't want to balance in the middle. You
Mhm.
need to be at one end or the other. It's
Mhm.
about either holding people accountable or recognizing them for the good work that they do.
Yes.
But we're not above anyone, right? Like us as leaders in any positions that we have. When I was hiring my cleaning teams, I was scrubbing the toilets. I'm not, I
Mhm.
went there to clean with the cleaning teams because I
Mhm.
want to show them that I'm not there above them. I'm not going to sit there on my laptop and my iPad and take notes of what you're doing. No, let's go do it together. I don't have a problem. But I had to carve out my schedule to be like, I will also do this. It doesn't
Yes.
matter. Am I smaller than someone because I've had to scrub toilets? Who cares? What difference does it really make? And I'm so true to myself. I don't give a shit what people think. I don't care. I think that's just
Mhm.
eventually the attitude once you have that to be able to say, hey, I'm comfortable in my skin and what I do, but I'm also willing to learn. I'm willing to accept feedback. And I think that's very hard for most leaders to do because there's
That-
that ego, right? Like
yeah.
we always let our ego come in the way of feedback. It's not a
Mhm.
personal decision, it's a business decision. If I'm
Yes.
seeking feedback and trying to improve from it, I'm trying to grow and be better for myself. And I
Mhm.
believe that it's continuous, never ending improvement in everything that you do in your personal and professional lives, in your relationships with your wife. Like, if you're not telling your spouse what it is that you dislike or what didn't
Mhm.
go well, and you're not setting the expectations, or you're not communicating and you don't
Mhm.
have trust, you have nothing. How
Mhm.
good is your relationship? And shout
Mhm.
out to my wife. She's incredible. I'm not just saying that.
I believe she is. I believe she
She
is.
is. She is. She allows me to be this insane and be this focused. And there's the support system helps, right? The understanding from your partner helps.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been really rich. So, as we turn the corner here, I know that there are leaders that have connected with what you have shared. And I'm going to ask you to speak to that leader that's listening right now who feels like, again, Fahad, I hear you. This is good, but it's out of my reach. That greatness, that greatness thing is out of my reach. Talk to that leader that feels like greatness is out of that reach. What's that first small step that they can make to align themselves with greatness starting today?
Um, Shut the fuck up. Never say greatness is out of your reach. I think the number one thing is, guys, the moment you say something's out of your reach, it is out of your reach if this is what you believe. And that's where you can just click, okay, pause, stop the podcast. This isn't what I'm like. The number one step is belief. believe in yourself, believe in your greatness. You are more than capable. You don't need me to come here and tell you that. And if you don't believe it, you've got to rewire your brain a little bit to be like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to prove everyone wrong. Whether you do it for yourself or for other people, that's your decision. I've always younger age, I did it to prove other people wrong. I used other people's words as motivation. You don't think I can do it? I didn't I didn't try to copy you. I tried to be better than you. That's the goal. The goal isn't to do it as good as you. The goal is to figure out how you did it and then
Mhm.
how do I master it and do it better. And
Mhm.
that is the mindset you need to have. And I think that's where people just need to step back and start
Step back.
believing and in
Mm.
what it is that they're capable of doing and start with small things. Write out a list, accomplish
Mhm.
it, go
Mhm.
step by step to say, hey, if I had to do whatever it is that you have to do today, write down a list of A, B, C, D, E. I'm going to go
Mm.
through and do it. Time block it. Be like, hey, this is what time I'm going to do it by.
Mm.
And give yourself less time instead of more
Mm.
time. If you
I
think
like.
you can do it in 30 minutes, write down 25. And trust me,
Mhm.
you'll probably do it in 25. If you give
Mm.
yourself an hour, you'll probably waste an hour doing it still.
Mhm.
If you wrote
Mhm.
20, you'd probably still get it done in 20 minutes. But it's just we're we're so stuck in our mind, in our head, to be able to place limitations on ourselves that we
Mm.
just don't realize. And sometimes it's also the growth factor, right? Like how you grew up, what your childhood was like, how your
Mm.
parents were, how your siblings were. And maybe that's where the initial mindset comes from. Maybe. Or maybe it's just innate, but you can shift it at any point in time, right? You're not
Yes.
like if you haven't been able to achieve certain goals in your life, that doesn't mean you won't achieve the next goals in your life.
Correct.
It's just look, scrap all that. That
Mm.
means nothing. The
Mhm.
last goal that I achieved has nothing to do with the next goal that I'm
Mm.
trying to achieve.
Mhm.
And we've all failed somewhere in our lives, right? Michael Jordan says this like I've missed X amount of shots. He's missed more shots. LeBron has technically missed more shots than anyone. But those are
Mhm.
the two greatest players of all time. Why are they great? Not because of their misses, but their
Because they.
failures aren't what defined them. It's
Mhm.
the ability to move on from those failures, to move on from the losses in the first round, to move on from the losses in the finals, whatever that is for any player, whether it's sports, whether it's business, whatever it is. Your losses
Mhm.
don't define you. And stop beating yourself up and start patting yourself on the back to say, hey, I did this. And 1 hour instead of
Mm.
even one day, just break it 1 hour.
An
Go
hour. That is.
accomplish something in the next hour,
Mhm.
1 minute at a time, the next 30-minute slot, the next 15-minute slot. How am I
Mm.
going to? And then you start to stack that undeniable proof that you
Mm.
are going to execute, but it's stacking it continuously. This isn't a one thing. I did one thing and I'm good, but it's
Mm.
just we're going to continue to do it, and that will change your mindset. In I can do this, but start
Yes.
slow, start small. Whatever it is that you want to achieve, you can achieve. I certainly
Mm.
believe it, and I've seen people do it. I've seen so many people that came from nothing to
Yes.
selling $100 million a year in real estate, to
Yes.
owning obscene amounts of real estate, to being multimillionaires.
It is possible. I like that. So, I hear you as we end on this note. We're talking to the leaders. We've had this amazing conversation. Again, I invite you to go back and replay and really take notes, like write this down, because Fahad literally gave us the pillars of the art of greatness, not just something that's pie in the sky, but on a practical note, a practical level that we can engage with starting today. On that note, I know that there are leaders who have seen this and are listening that want to engage with you, that want to tap into your resources. So please share with us what's the best way to engage with you and to tap into your resources.
Yeah, certainly. You can find me on Instagram at FF Realtor. Uh, I think you had our website there, but that's completely fine. Art of Greatness. Feel free, look me up if you're looking for coaching within your business or you're looking for help to grow in certain ways. Feel free to reach out, send me a DM, coach, and we can have a discussion there. Or
Listen.
if you've got properties that you'd like us to help manage in North America, and we're looking at Italy right now, We're looking at a potential expansion
Oh,
into Italy, but we're in the US, we're in Canada. We've got properties that yield, like our average property does north of $140,000 a year, which is incredible. Our top ones do about $500,000 a year. And if you want those kinds of results, feel free to reach out. We'd love to share what we do.
fantastic. All right. So you have heard Fahad. As always, we like to support our guests. So I want to invite you to go ahead and reach out. You can find him on Instagram, the website. The links will be in the description. And as always, I invite you to reach out to Fahad and let him know that you saw this episode. Let him know you saw the episode and share with him the pillar that stuck out to you. Fahad, thank you so much. It's been great to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian.
Absolutely. All right. Well, there you have it, right? We have the reminder today that greatness isn't a mystery, it's an art. And just like any art, it's built one pillar at a time. Now, I'd love to hear from you, right? I want to know, which pillar of greatness did you feel strongest that was connected to you, and which one do you want to focus on so that you can enhance and refine? Share your thoughts with me on the platform in which you're watching today. And if today's episode sparks something in you, I want you to go ahead and hit that follow or subscribe button. Share this episode with another leader that you know is chasing greatness. Leave us a review, and until next time, keep building your pillars, keep leaning into the art of it, and remember, greatness isn't out there somewhere. It starts right here with you.